Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly podcast for Separation and Divorce Coaching Ireland. This week, I am very happy to have Sue Landsberg from Inner Happy with us. She's going to take us through how her business can help you in your separation and divorce journey. So welcome, Sue Landsberg. How are you?
Thank you, Mel. I'm very, very well. I'm delighted to be here to support your clients. Thank you.
So tell us more about Inner Happy.
Well, I founded Inner Happy about 2 years ago when I moved back to Ireland. I spent 15 years in South Africa. I've actually been 25 years almost out of Ireland. And the whole concept came about because I've been separated about 8 years. I'm currently getting divorced, and I needed to support myself. People like you were not around then, certainly not in South Africa, and I felt very much left to my own devices in a very lonely, isolated, dark place.
Yes, a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel alone.
Absolutely. And I was grief-stricken. I was lonely. I was stressed. I hadn't been working full-time because my husband had worked away. So I was at home with the kids, working part-time myself. So Inner Happy came about because I studied and trained to help myself. And I put all of that training into what gave me inner happiness. It gave me back me.
It's amazing what could come out the other side when people take that step to separate and divorce and get back to who they really are. You know, what they've really lost, what they can come up with.
I did it, I guess there's no right or wrong way, but that was my journey and my personal development, I guess. And I wouldn't trade that because what I have become from it, I wouldn't change for the world. I am happier today than I have ever been, and I'm supporting other people. So Inner Happy wasn't solely or just for people going through separation or divorce. I guess it's for people who tend not to be able to manage stress and overwhelm, which is also people like your clients.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Yes, it's everybody today. And there are tools and techniques and strategies that we were never taught, but yet we're expected to be able to cope and get on. And
a bit like becoming a mom. You're just expected to know what to do.
Yeah, there's no handbook. There's no book on this. But there is so much you can do to support yourself. I found we were always looking outwards for making us happy, to fix us. But actually, it's all within you, and there's so much you can learn. So I teach people, first of all, the biggest thing would be self-compassion. And I've studied the power of self-compassion. And that's about looking after yourself first.
Yeah.
Because when you're in that situation, you're so overwhelmed, and you've got the kids, and it's all about the kids, and which is perfectly validated. But if you're not okay, none of the rest will be okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the big pieces of separation and divorce is setting up your support system, whatever that's going to be.
Absolutely.
Your well-being, your activities to help yourself.
Yeah. So what I learned through all this that has now become what Inner Happy offers is tools and techniques, quick and easy tools and techniques, where my program is like at self-compassion, which is a lot more in depth than one would think, actually, because we tend to be very harsh and critical of ourselves. What did I do wrong? And your self-worth and your value and your confidence with separation and divorce can really, and mine did, really hit rock bottom, that you feel like you're broken. You feel like you're unlovable. Is there something wrong with me?
Yeah, because your dreams are squashed. You said, what did I do wrong? It's many times the ex-partner is also digging into you and causing you angst. The children, the family, your friends, everyone's out at you, and you don't have that much support. Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly it. And what did you just say there? Something you pointed on everybody. Oh, I can't remember. It's gone now.
Everyone's out to get it to the support system, the partners trying to.
Yes, and that's it. The stress, all of that causes. I teach skills to manage stress and overwhelm, manage your racing mind, your overwhelming emotions, which obviously you do have, but learning to manage them in a more helpful way so that you're good inside, you're okay. And they're all quick and easy techniques. When you practice often, you actually become more calm, more confident, and in control, which is what we need. Because when you're so stressed and emotionally distraught in that situation, you lose control, which you feel like you have no control, and you are so overwhelmed. And we know when we're overwhelmed with stress, we can't think straight, we can't think with clarity, so we don't make good decisions.
Yeah. And I think all of our inner demons come out, during that time. And then that self-care, that self-compassion you talk about, there's layers to peel back on it. There's years and years of just cleaning up.
It's like, what do I need now? And when you learn the process of self-compassion, you realize how you are absolutely not alone, which so many do feel. And you learn to rebuild, your inner happiness, your strength, your confidence. And I am testimony to that it is absolutely possible. And I teach you and help you to look ahead and to be able to let go of what doesn't serve you anymore. And yes, that is a process. And you had asked me also, Mel, what I would have done differently.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great to reflect on all of this, because having gone through it, we can help so many more people. And I so wished that there was someone like you, a coach in the whole person years ago. My recovery and my bouncing back would have been so much quicker. I'm separated about 8 years now. And as I said, divorce going through now. And it's all very calm and easy, and there is absolutely zero stress. And I think it's because of the work I have done on myself.
Yeah.
And it didn't take the 8 years to get to this point. That's also very important, that it's not necessarily a very long road when there are people like you and other people like me and other people who are trained to support you. So what I would have done differently was, okay, I would have loved if someone like you was there, which there wasn't. But when we seek professional guidance, you've got, say, the lawyer, you've got a counselor, and it's all very fragmented. And it's all about the logistics and the finances and the kids. There's nothing about you.
Yeah.
And also going to somebody who has been through it.
Yes.
Like, I mean, you tick every box for what I would have needed and wanted.
Thank you. Well, that's why I'm doing this, because I wish I had someone like me when I was going through my own divorce, And I'm a coach. I'm a life coach, so I was able to use some of my what I'd learned on myself. But I want to be there to help others.
Totally. Like, I lived in South Africa, and I Googled. I spent hours Googling. Who was around. So there was counselors, there was therapists, but first of all, they hadn't been through it, so they didn't understand all of what was involved, and none of their own doing. I'm delighted that they were still happily married, but they couldn't really resonate. They hadn't walked that journey.
And the thing is, you're not looking for a counselor necessarily. He's not looking to fix something from the past.
So it didn't work.
And a coach doesn't necessarily know what you're going through. So having someone who's been through it is really important, I think.
100%. So that was a waste of money and time. And then you're investing yourself, and you have so little energy at that point anyway to give. Be very mindful of where and who you're turning to, because family and friends, they all mean so well. And a lot of them can be supportive, and depends on, are they mindful listeners? Or are they just wanting to give their 2 cents worth? Are they too close to it? They're not, and they can add to your stress. So I think turning to somebody independent who looks at your whole well-being You
Exactly.
have the lawyers or whatever do the logistics and the process, but you need someone who can help you through the process so
Yeah.
you can find your inner strength to move forward.
Yeah.
And
And also to sort out what it is you really want, because there's so much coming at you
exactly.
and there's so many different directions you can take. So what is really important to you in your future
Yes,
vision? Where do you really want
yes.
to go?
That's
Mm.
and that's exactly what we do in self-compassion. What do you need? What do you want?
Yeah.
Because often we're as say moms, or when it gets, or you haven't been working full time, you've got so much going on, you haven't even thought of who you are or what you want. I
Exactly.
remember at that point I was like, people would say, well, what do you want to do, what do you like? I'm like, I didn't even know who I was.
Exactly. And that's why
I
you've
had
lost yourself so
I
much.
had
And
lost myself
mm,
completely. And that's
mm,
really, really painful and
yeah.
upsetting.
Mm,
But it's because you were giving yourself fully as a wife, as a mother, and as
exactly.
working and multitasking, that you get lost along the way.
And the thing is, you gave up so much just to make the relationship work often because it was so important to you. So you'd be like, okay, if
Absolutely.
I'll give into this, I'll give into this. And all those multiple givings in
Yes.
over the years become the norm for the person, but you're no longer who you were.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's where family and friends don't know who you need to go back to, right? Because they're used to being in a certain corner, a certain person, and you need to move away sometimes from that to become back to yourself,
You
not based on their
absolutely
filter.
have to step away
Mm,
and knowing and recognizing that you can become who you want to be.
yeah,
And I started journaling. I started trying out new things that I'd never done before.
yeah.
And one of those was running. I'm like, I
Mm,
don't even know how I ended up at that running club. That running changed my life. It saved me,
it
as
is
did,
brilliant.
yeah.
It's like a
And mindfulness,
meditation. Yeah.
yes, mindfulness and meditation
Mm,
somehow found me.
yeah.
And that and running absolutely transformed my life, and it helped me to find me.
Hmm.
Um, it's incredible. So what I would say is also be open, try different things, start journaling what you think you like or who you are.
Yeah.
Start exploring who you are, because this is what will give you back your confidence
Yeah.
and your ability to get out there. I never, ever, ever thought I would be back out there as strong. I'm stronger and happier,
Yeah.
like I said, than I've ever been.
And that's such an
So,
important message I'm trying to tell people is there is light at the end of the tunnel. And in fact, life can be amazing afterwards.
oh,
You might have some financial stuff. It doesn't mean you're not going to be amazingly happy, So,
absolutely. Well,
yeah.
I was fully dependent on him. So it was very scary at the
Hmm.
time. But I guess with
So tell me
mindfulness,
more
I
about that.
learned
How did you overcome that fear? Because that's a really big fear. A lot of people don't even
huge
leave because of the financial issues.
huge fear.
Mm,
For years it was in the back of my mind. What if anything happened to him? Or
mm,
what if we separated, which I couldn't foresee. And my worst nightmare had come true.
hmm.
And I already struggled with desperate anxiety growing up. So I was really not in a good place.
Hmm.
Like I really wasn't. I overcame that fear by having quiet time, asking for divine help to support me.
Hmm.
And I'm a very spiritual person, so I absolutely felt that
Yeah.
support. And I
Yeah.
felt the fear lift.
Mhm.
And it's incredible because I've had no fear since. I can have
It's actually amazing who
finances.
comes in to support you during that time. If you put it
Yes,
out there, because
put
there's
it
so many
out.
first steps you have to do. The first
Yeah,
step is to go, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to despite the finances, despite all the different things in my way, that somehow
absolutely.
I need to do this to find myself again and
Yeah,
to be who I need to be in this
yeah.
world, in this lifetime. And that's the first step is being so brave. And the next step then is seeking the help you need to help get you
Yeah.
that support.
Ask
Yeah.
yourself, what if I don't?
Exactly.
Your life is so precious, so
Mm,
much more than you can maybe see right now. But what is happening is will only make you stronger, because if that marriage isn't working anymore, it's not meant to be. There's something better for you out there.
Yeah.
And I'm still on my own, but I could never be happier, really. And if I met somebody, great, but to know that you are whole as you are and you can find yourself and be fully happy again. And the consequence of not moving forward due to finances, I would say, just come to one of us and we will support you with letting go of that. That is such a limiting belief, and that could hold you back for the rest of your life.
Well, that's a self-worth thing, isn't it? I don't value myself enough because the finances are more important than my own self-worth.
Yeah. When you put it out there, you will get by. You may not have had all the luxuries you wanted, but you know what? Look at what's actually going to make you happy.
Yeah.
Being happy, loving yourself with who you are, and not being in a destructive or an unhappy marriage.
Yeah.
All that will do when you continue is wear you down further and further and further till you are so broken down. You will have a breakdown. You won't be able to cope.
Yeah. In some relationships, especially ones that are emotionally or abusive or are physically abusive, if you don't leave earlier, you will be just a shell, and it'll be too hard to leave afterwards. You just won't be able to. So it's important to do that now.
And speak to someone through it, because there's also that denial of like, oh, well, they're going through this, or they're going through that, or they'll change, or it's just a phase, or, you know, it was good, so it'll come back, or life is too busy. I just can't even go there. I can't even think of this because this would be a nightmare. I just don't have time for this. And so we brush over it so much, but that takes so much out of you, and it's your precious happiness and your life. You know,
can you imagine yourself 10 years into the future? How are you going to be? What are you going to be like if they continue to be that way towards you?
Yeah. And when we learn to let go of what isn't serving us anymore, it opens the doors for what it is.
Yeah.
And I know that can be hard to do because we've been there. And that's why we and you are the perfect people to support someone through that. So that's what I would have done differently. And because what I love about what you do, and is you first of all, you've been there and you cover all areas, because when a person is in that situation, they feel, like we said, grief-stricken, very isolated, very alone, in a very dark place generally.
Well, it's the same as losing someone really close to you to death. You go through that same grief process. Yeah.
It's a process. And it's like all your dreams. I remember sitting on the couch and thinking, this isn't meant to be happening to me. This happens to other people, not me.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely, I guess I was not panicked. What's the word? I was, can't think of the word. Like shock. I was in shock.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went into complete shock. And so what I love is that you deal with the whole person, because that emotional, managing your thoughts and your mind and your emotions, all of those affect your sleeping, your eating, you know, every aspect of your life, all the other relationships in your life and your personal and professional life. And if you haven't, and like I said earlier, you actually feel like you've no control anymore. And what you need is someone who can bring all of that together and give you that security that you so desperately need at that time. And somebody who actually has the whole person. Because like I said, you'll go through the legal, you can go, as you said, to a counselor, a life coach. I didn't even know life coaches existed then. Maybe they didn't actually, I don't know. But there weren't the other options. And I know with being with somebody like you who has a structured plan, I would have felt so safe. I would have bounced back so much quicker than I actually did. And I would just feel heard. I would feel, I wrote down, let's see, I would be able to, I'd be able to cope better. I would be able to rebuild my life quicker and find who I really am in a safe space. So not just saying it, but I absolutely wish you were in my life 8 years ago.
Oh, thanks, Sue. Yeah,
Seriously.
well, that's what I like to do. It's like allow the people to get their emotions out, and then
Yes.
we can formulate a plan and get through this as quickly as possible towards the vision that you really want, and get out the other side, get out of it as fast as possible so you can just move forward with your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's about learning to let go. And the more we focus on managing our mind, so our mind, we know we tend to focus on the negative and what's going wrong rather than what's going right. So when we support people to rather, and the more we focus on that, that becomes our default way of being. And that can easily happen if we're not aware. But when we become aware of what we're thinking, and then we shift the focus, like you said, of who do I want to be? I can actually be whoever I want to be. And that is also very exciting and liberating. And where do I want to go? Oh my God, the world is your oyster.
And it's amazing. And you need that, because otherwise the lawyer's going to tell you what to do. Your ex is going to tell you what to do. Your friends and family are going to tell you what to do. And you're not going to really know where you're going.
Oh, absolutely. Like I had people we won't go there, but you will get it all. But taking that time for you, and I know being in a quiet space, some people can find really hard because all of these negative things come up. But when we train people to focus on the possibilities and the potential and help them to work through who they really are and what they actually really want, then they when they focus more on that, the stress and the negativity falls away. It becomes weaker, and you become stronger because you're focusing on potential.
Yeah. And the buttons that other people would have pressed and know how to press become weaker, and you become much more in control.
They don't, you don't you don't react anymore because you've learned the techniques and the skills as well. So it's multifaceted, but it's not complex and it's not difficult so long as you are with the right person to guide you. So all I can say is, it's a vicious cycle if you get into that negative spiral and stay in that space. But knowing and being aware that you are not going to stay there. Everything in life is transient. This marriage didn't work because it wasn't supposed to be. Maybe it was for that period of time. There's something better out there for you. I can promise you. And working with somebody who can take you forward rather than staying in that space is absolutely vital to you moving forward.
Well, thanks, Sue. I really appreciate you coming on to this. And Inner Happy will be such a great help as well for people going through separation and divorce. So we look forward to working with you again in the future. And thank you, Sue Landsberg from Inner Happy.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
It was really lovely to chat to you today. Lovely.
Thank you.